loud so it should.
Recording not होता है Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I, Ms. Shushma Kindalkar, is your host for today. I, wel- I welcome each and everyone for the Sadgun Sun Meet 160th virtual webinar on the topic Employee Sensitization and Awareness Program on Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace PPR Act 2013, taken by Ms. Sheetal Nivalkar. She shall be covering brief introduction on the Act and its requirements. What is the definition of sexual harassment and the type of sexual harassment? What is a workplace and who is a woman as per the said Act? Case study session, followed by question and answer session. Agenda for the Sadgun Sangh meet. Virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria. Invoking the blessing of deity. Introduction of speaker by Sushma. Presentation by Ms. Sheetal Nivalkar, followed by question and answer session. Brief introduction about Dr. Sundar Kataria, Chairman and Managing Director, ICS and its group companies. Sadgun Sangh, conceived and led by Dr. Kataria, driven with a mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness levels of industry. Sadgun Sangh is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solutions to current issues of industry and economy. Dr. Kataria is a chairman and managing director at ICS Private Limited. He has done doctorate into business management, mechanical engineer. Experience are into Rajasthan Atomic Power Project, India's first nuclear power plant RAPP at Rawat Bata, Kota, built by Indian engineers. Worked as nuclear scientist for 11 years and successfully completed and commissioned the plant. Engineers India Limited, first batch of engineers to develop Bombay High Offshore Oil and Gas Fields, Mega Offshore Complex Platform, truck and submarine pipelines, underwater inspection and indemnization oil and gas equipments. DNV worked for 17 years at various capacity for the certification of fixed offshore installation, submarine pipelines, onshore projects, and personal qualification. ICS. He is the founder of India's first certification assessment body established in the year 1999. Provider of total quality solution. Certification of management system, ISO, inspection and testing, and training qualification of personnel. He has received several Lifetime Achievement Award for the contribution of the corrosion technologies from NAICS International by NIGIS under NAICS. Social worker, protection of life, assets, environmental and safety. Sir, I request you to inaugurate today's session.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Please join us for the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. Introduction of the keynote speaker, Ms. Sheetal Nivalkar. She is the Assistant Manager System Documentation at ICS Private Limited, BA in Psychology, 25 plus years of rich experience in management system, out of which 10 years of on-ground experience pertaining to POSH Act, empaneled as an external member for over 100 companies across India since the inception of the POSH Act in 2014 till date. Undergone extensive training under the said Act and its requirement and have handled complaints and conducted almost 50 plus investigations under the said Act. Lead auditor for QMS EMS and consultant for QMS, EMS, FSMS, OSHAs and other management systems in India and abroad. Also associated with labor law firm to conduct audits under various labor laws. Ma'am, I request you to please take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna, for the brief introduction. I welcome all of you today for attending this session on today's topic, as you all know, we'll talk about is sexual harassment of women at workplace, PPR Act 2013. You all must be knowing it as the POSH Act, which is the given name given. Okay? But the actual name of the act is called Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, PPR Act 2013. So to start with or to begin with, I'm going to start with the session is going to go on. Give you a brief introduction about the act requirements. Okay. And after that, I'll be playing a small video. And after that, there'll be case studies and case scenarios for a better understanding of the act. So how did this act come into existence? To begin with, in the year 1992, there was a state of Rajasthan, wherein a gang rape had happened. Okay, with a lady working for an NGO. Her name was Bhavri Devi. She was gang raped. She was working for an NGO for a cause of child marriage, against child marriage. Okay, she was gang raped by these entire people where she was working. She went to the police, but the police did not entertain her FIR. Later on in the year 1995,
in the year 2012, what happened? What incident happened? I want to make this interactive. That's the reason why we're having this live session today. Okay, so please be interactive. In 2012, what happened in India? What happened? Please say loudly. Nirbhaya case. Everybody knows about Nirbhaya case? Yes, it's very famous, right? That's how the Indian government actually woke up, and then they in December 9th, 2013, okay, the parliament, they passed this bill and it became into an act. The president signed the bill and it was passed on 9th of December 2013. Okay, so actually it came into implementation from 2014, right? So now what does this act say? Now why are we having this session? It is mandatory for all organizations, all companies in India that they have to conduct awareness session or sensitization sessions for its employees and make them aware of the act requirements. That's the reason why today we are also having this session. Okay. So now coming and moving on to the act requirements. What is the first requirement under the act is that any organization in India, from Jammu Kashmir till Kerala and from the east to the west, anywhere you go in India, any organization who has 10 and more employees working with them, irrespective of male or female, okay? Irrespective of male or female, if they have 10 or more employees working for them, this act becomes applicable. It is applicable to them. Less than 10 employees, what happens? It does mean that this act is not applicable? No, still the act is applicable. There are different authorities that will look into it if there are any cases happening with less than 10 employees. But with 10 and more employees, since we are now more than 100 and we are a group of companies, right? We are more than 100 employees working here. So this act becomes applicable to each and every organization, in the sense, supposing ICS as a group has got how many companies in its under its flagship? Around 10 organizations under its companies. There are 10 companies. So under each licensed company where there are 10 and more employees, this act becomes applicable, and it is individually that organization has to comply with the requirements. Okay. So now, for example, now we have ICS Technologies, we have ICS Assure. Okay. Wherever we have 10 and more employees, you need to understand this act is applicable and you have to follow the requirements under the act. That is the first thing, the applicability. Okay. Second applicability is that the employer has to comply with certain requirements. Now, what are the requirements? There is a POSH policy that needs to be in place. Okay. A POSH policy or a POSH related document has to be in place. Then an IC has to be formed by the company. Okay. Then sensitizing programs and awareness programs needs to be conducted on a yearly basis. So per employee, at least one training per year is mandatory. After this session, we are also going to take an attendance sheet from all of you that you have attended this program. And the other main compliance under the act is that you have to file an annual report at the end of the year. Each year, at the end of each year, you have to file an annual report. This is the main compliance under the act. So for the year 2023, now when we finish in January, you have to apply or submit an annual report company-wise. So these are the main requirements under the act. Now we'll move into the detailed discussion as to what the act exactly says. Okay. Now what does the act say here? The name of the act is what? I want you all to say it loudly. What is the act name? Please say. Shall I have eaten breakfast? No. What is the act name? Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace PPR Act 2013. Okay. So today I'll be explaining to you, or rather bringing you a clarity as to what is sexual harassment under the act, who is a woman under the act, the definition, what is a workplace, that definition. Okay. The one thing is which is there in the brackets called PPR. What does that PPR stand for? Okay. And 2013 means the act was implemented in the year 2013. So it is the year that which it says it came into implementation. This is one of the newest acts under labor laws. Sexual harassment is, this act is under labor laws. Okay. So now we'll come to the first definition of what is sexual harassment. Now again, I'm saying I want to make this interactive, so I'll be asking questions. And I want you all to answer, please. Now, according to you, okay, before I move on, I just want to know how many of you have attended this kind of a training before? Have you all attended any training on this before, or is it the first time? Yes, no? First time? Everybody's first time?
No one.
No one?
First time.
Okay. Okay. So we'll move on to the first definition of what is sexual harassment. Now, if I ask you what, according to you, means sexual harassment, who will tell me what is your understanding of what is sexual harassment?
Bad behavior.
Bad behavior. Okay. Any other understanding?
Teasing.
Teasing. Okay. Okay. The sexual harassment definition under the Act is any unwanted, unsolicited, okay, makes a woman uncomfortable, okay, an act which is sexual in nature or which has a sexual connotation to that particular act or behavior is termed as sexual harassment. So any act which is unwanted, unsolicited for, makes a woman feel uncomfortable, but has a sexual connotation to it, means has something sexual in it, is sexual harassment. Any act which does not have any sexual meaning to it will not fall under this act. Okay? So there are 3 types and there are 2 categories under this particular definition. What are the 2 categories? First category is called as quid pro quo category. Quid pro quo is a Latin word, okay, meaning for this for that. This for that meaning a person in an organization or in a workplace. A person authority, sorry. Slide? No, I'm not showing you the slides. So what is quid pro quo? Quid pro quo means this for that. So a person authority in the office or a workplace asks for sexual favors in return. So this is kind of a mutual beneficial kind of a system. Like you give me this, I give you that. So for a promotion, for a work, for a raise in salary, something like this. Okay. So when a person authority asks for sexual favors in return for something, you give me this, I give you that. So both of them are benefited, right? That is called quid pro quo type of or category of sexual harassment, right? Second category is called hostile work environment. What is hostile work environment? Now this is an environment you're working for. This is your workplace, right? So the people you work along with, your colleagues, your managers, your whoever is in your workplace related to your work, okay? Those people create a kind of a pressurized environment for the woman, maybe through talking like backbiting or bad bitching, okay, talking something which is not correct or something about a sexual affair or an affair about a woman, okay. So the people around you, they create a hostile work environment for the woman, okay. So this is called hostile work environment. So 2 categories, quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Under hostile work environment, there are 3 types: physical, verbal, and non-verbal. Physical, everybody will understand. Physical is through touch. Good touch, bad touch, everybody understands. So physical type of sexual harassment means when you touch somebody. Maybe somebody is walking through and you just brush through. or you touch, and that touch is not something very favorable. The woman understands a good touch and a bad touch, right? Now, that doesn't mean that when you shake hands, or for example, somebody wants to shake hands, a handshake with a good intention, but that handshake, if it moves on to another, for example, a more than 2 seconds or 5 seconds, if the handshake remains and there is something very fishy in that handshake, you will understand, right? So then that becomes sexual harassment. Okay. It will be considered as sexual harassment. So physical. Next is verbal. Now, how verbal? Verbal is through talking, in the sense you say certain bad words or use certain bad language at the workplace. And we are talking all about at the workplace. So you use bad language at the workplace. Some people have got the habit of swearing. People use, bad, what do you call, bad words at the office level. These things happen somewhere in, in the factories, mainly where there are labor class working. They use mainly swearing words, or they use bad language, bad words, right, while talking to each other. So verbal type of talking about a woman's physicality, body shaming her or something like that. So these all are verbal types of sexual harassment, which has something sexual in it. Non-verbal would be sending text messages, something through WhatsApp or through emails. These are all non-verbal. Non-verbal would also mean a person looking at you, the way he looks at you, the staring at you, the way he's, gazing you from up to down. That is called non-verbal. Okay. So understood the definition of sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is unwanted behavior or act which is unwanted, unsolicited for, made a woman comfortable, uncomfortable. Two types. Which are the two types? Which are the two types?
Physical.
No. Which are the two types? Quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Under hostile work environment, there are three different types: physical, verbal, and non-verbal. Understood? Definition of sexual harassment is clear? Yeah? Okay. Now we'll move to the next definition. Who is the woman under the act? Okay, now who is a woman under the act? A woman only working at the workplace will be considered to make file a complaint against the act? No. Any woman at the workplace is considered under the definition of the act, and she can file a complaint if she is subjected to sexual harassment at the workplace. So she can be either a trainee, she can be an apprentice, she can be working temporarily, okay? She can be on contract basis. Now, there are some companies who send people to other offices, right? Contractual basis, subcontractual basis, right? So a woman is any woman, for the matter, even a housemaid. A housemaid is considered a woman, and she can file a complaint of sexual harassment under that. Why? Because the workplace for her is what? The housemaid, the workplace is what? जो काम करने आती है आपके घर में. The house is the workplace, right? So where will she file a complaint? For her complaints, it will go to the local district magistrate. I'll explain to you later on. But even she can file. I mean, she is considered a woman under this particular act. Okay. So a woman can be any woman. For example, now I'm now employed here, but I sometimes go for trainings to other organizations to give such type of trainings, right? So when I go there, I'm not an employee of that company, right? But I've come there for a training for 1 hour. I'm at that office and somebody misbehaves with me over there. I can file a complaint because something has happened to me at a workplace. Okay. So even a woman who comes, with for some people, some women, they come for selling at door to door, even they will be considered because they are working. Okay. Wherever there is an employee-employer relationship, this act becomes applicable. All right. So understood the definition of woman, it can be any woman. It doesn't mean that you have to be working in one place only. No. All right. Now coming to the definition of Workplace. Now for you, for ICS, this is a workplace. You have offices and stations all over India. That is the workplace. Plus for inspection cell, you have offices at your client places, right? Inspection, your inspectors, your work at client's office, HPCL, IOCL, wherever, Reliance, correct? So that is a workplace for you. There is something called, so workplace means also that it is applicable to any organization. Any organization in the sense, it can be a private organization, it can be an unorganized organization, okay, a sports complex. As I said, wherever there is an employee, even in farms, nowadays even farmers, they take on villagers, to work in the farm for them. So there also there is an employee-employer relationship, right? So there also this act is applicable, right? So workplace is any place where there is an employee-employer relationship. Now there is something also called as an extended workplace. Now what is an extended workplace? People going on for travels for official duty. Okay, marketing people, they travel. They have to visit places. They have to go to various other offices. So during office hours, anything which is official during office hours, official hours, anything untoward incident happens with a woman, okay, that will be considered as an extended workplace. Now for us, our office is in a Swastik Industries premises, right? Anything happening on the terrace, anything, some people in some offices, organizations, they have in one building, there are many offices, right, on the each floor. So there are common places like, say, staircase, then passages, lifts, then the outside area. The moment you step outside, say Swastik Industry, you step outside, you come to the L&T or you come to the main road, that becomes a non-workplace area. Okay, the moment you step within the premises of the workplace or extended workplace, and any untoward incident happens there, you can still file a complaint. So now to file a complaint, it is very necessary that the complaint has to have a sexual harassment element in it. It has to be faced by a woman, and it has to be at the workplace. Okay, if these three elements are there, only then you can file a complaint under this act. Clear? If it is not falling within this criteria, you will not file a complaint under this act. Okay, if you're not going to file under this act, then where will you go to file a complaint? If it is not falling within this criteria, what I explained, then where will you go? Where will you go? Either to the HR, either to your HR, okay, they will handle it differently. Or if it is something very serious or something very grave in the sense, the scenario, it could be like a very molestation, okay, then it has to go to the IPC sections, police, it becomes a police case. All right. So have you understood the meaning of sexual harassment, who is a woman and what is a workplace, right? We move on further. Okay, I'll be showing you now a video. What I've explained to you, it is reflected in that video, and you all will have a better understanding of it. So just go through that video and then we will continue with the requirements. Okay, so I would request Arun to play that video, please. And those of you who are not able to hear it on the screen or on the loudspeaker here, you can please go to the Zoom call and can listen over there. Stop sharing this. ZMC. No, this, not this. I said ZM.
According to a global review by United Nations Women in 2013, 35% of women and girls worldwide experience either physical or sexual, intimate partner violence, or non-partner sexual violence. Violence against women continues to be a major obstacle to women's self-realization and violates her right to a life of dignity. Crime Bureau statistics show that violence against women still pervades homes, workplaces, and public spaces. In the same year, it was revealed that 72.5% of women face sexual harassment and violence in the city of Guwahati. Such violence is not random violence, in which the victims happen to be women and girls. The risk factor is being female. In other words, the roots of such violence are gender-based. Registered cases are only the tip of the iceberg, as most cases are not reported due to fear and stigma. Recently, certain progressive laws and policies have been adopted by the government to prevent and redress violence against women. What is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is offensive conduct faced by women and includes any unwanted, unwelcome, and unlawful behavior that has sexual connotations. Such behaviors includes physical, verbal, and non-verbal actions and gestures, such as unwanted name-calling, patting, stroking, or flashing private parts, smacking lips, leering, elevator eyes, making sexually explicit telephone calls, emails, SMSs, MMSs, letters, unwanted invites for dates, and so on. Given the alarming situation, government and other institutional bodies have adopted progressive legislations and have modified existing laws. India enacted the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which brought in several changes to the Indian Penal Code in relation to sexual offences on women. It defines and penalizes sexual harassment, which include Section 294, singing, reciting, or uttering any obscene song, ballad, or words in or near any public place that can lead to imprisonment of a term, which may extend to 3 months, or with fine, or both. Section 354 and 509. Assault, or use of criminal force of any kind with the intent to outrage a woman's modesty or dignity, like attempts to physically attack, sexually molest, and verbally abuse. It can lead to imprisonment up to 2 years, or be liable to pay a fine, or both. Section 354B. Anyone who assaults or uses criminal force on any woman with the intention of disrobing or forcing her to disrobe. It entails imprisonment for not less than 3 to 7 years, or will be liable to pay a fine, or both. Section 354C. Voyeurism, like watching, capturing, or disseminating images of women engaging in a private act. Such offence will lead to an imprisonment of not less than 1 to 3 years, and up to 7 years for repeated offenders. Section 354D. Stalking, meaning following a woman physically or electronically, even if she objects. It is punishable with an imprisonment of up to 3 years and 5 years for repeated offenders. Sexual harassment of women at the workplace. Sexual harassment against women can take place anywhere, at home, workplace, or in public. When such conduct takes place at the workplace, it is termed sexual harassment of women at the workplace. Many women are often forced to leave their jobs and workplace to avoid sexual harassment. It results to considerable losses to both individuals and institutions. Acts of shop can be categorized into two: quid pro quo, meaning this for that, which is sexual harassment caused by those in authority or power in an employment. It relates to the abuse of authority, resulting in tangible or noticeable employment-related action. Hostile work environment is when the abuse does not result in tangible employment action, but creates an unfriendly work environment, making a woman employee feel uncomfortable or threatened. When a woman faces sexual harassment at the workplace, she can make a complaint to the following: Internal Complaints Committee, ICC. It is mandatory for each workplace with 10 or more employees to have an ICC in place, with the senior woman employee as the presiding officer, at least 2 employees familiar with legal knowledge, social work, women's issues, and a third-party representative from an NGO or an activist committed to the cause of women, especially the issue of sexual harassment. 50% members of the committee should be women. Local Complaints Committee, LCC, for organizations with less than 10 employees. Domestic workers and those not having ICC may complain to the LCC at the district level, formed by the government. One can also check the official website of the district administration for LCC. Most of the women who experience sexual harassment do not file complaints due to fear, ignorance, and honor. Research shows that simply ignoring the behavior is ineffective and may even encourage such offensive behavior. Sexual harassment at the workplace is not about sexual attraction. It is about power dynamics at the workplace. Take action. Report now. Sexual harassment is a crime.
Okay. So whatever I explained is almost reflected in this video. Okay. For you all to also have a better and little bit get imbibed into what has been explained to you. Now coming to the how to, in case of there is a sexual harassment issue with any woman, what to do. I'll come to the complaint mechanism or how to make a complaint or file a complaint. Okay. So if any woman has to file a complaint under the said act, what are the 3 main criteria? As I told you, the 3 main criteria are: first of all, it has to be a sexual harassment happening with her, as what I explained according to the definition. It has to happen with a woman and it has to be at the workplace. This is the first 3 criteria you have to understand. Okay. Now filing a complaint. There are certain timelines under the act wherein you just can't file any time and any day. All right. So the incident that has happened with a woman, okay, she can file a complaint within 3 months of the incident happening with her. So 90 days time. So if the incident is happening with her today, for example, she's been given 90 days time to anytime come and file a complaint. Okay. But if there are series of incidences happening with her, say today something happened, after a week something happened, after 1 month something happened. So from the last day of the last incident happening with her, 3 months will be counted. Okay. Another 3 months can be given to her provided she gives a proper justification as to why she delayed in coming and giving the complaint so late. Okay, if the internal committee agrees that the justification is okay enough to take her complaint, if she comes beyond 3 months. 3 months is ideally where you should make a complaint, but if you go beyond 3 months, even 3 months and 1 day is considered lapsed. Okay, so you have to give justification why have you delayed in making a complaint. So first, the complaint has to be made within 3 months of the incident happening with you. The complaint has to be written, not verbal. Okay, the internal committee which is formed by ICS, okay, and each company wise there is an internal committee formed. Okay, so there is a chairperson, there are 2 members from each company, and there is one NGO representative as well. So minimum 4 or 5 members are there in each organization or the group company that are there. Okay, of ICS. As I said, the complaint has to be in written only. The written complaint also has to be very specific in nature. You have to write what was the issue, what was the complaint, what has happened with you, the location, the date, and who is the perpetrator, who is the respondent, or against who the complaint is. You have to make. The complaint can be against one person or it can be against many people also. All right. So the complaint has to have this kind of a structure in it. If it is not in that format, the internal committee will tell you to write in that particular format which I've just explained to you. So you have to write the issue, the complaint, what it is, the location, the date, and who is the against who you're making the complaint, right? And it has to be submitted to the internal committee, and then the committee will take it up. The committee also has got certain timeline as to how to carry out the investigation and when to complete the investigation. From the date the complaint is received by the internal committee, they have been given 90 days to carry out the investigation and finish it with a proper closure, in the sense whether it is whether the complainant was right, or whether or giving the punishment to the respondent is against who the complaint is made. Okay, so these are the timelines that you need to understand. The complaint has to come within 3 months. The internal committee has got 90 days to complete the investigation and submit it to the employer. Okay, so these are the timelines you need to understand, right? I will take you now through certain scenarios, like case studies. There are 5 scenarios in this. You will have to tell me whether each incident that I'm showing you right now, whether it is a sexual harassment case, what category, what type. Will you be able to tell me? Yes, no. Yes, no. She's saying no. You did not understand? Have you understood or no? Now, why are you saying no? You will not be able to understand. Okay. So we'll play the scenarios now. Huh? No, not PPT, case scenarios. Video. And after each scenario, let me again stop the video. You have to stop the video. Huh? Huh. This is the first scenario. Please see. हे लावायला सांगा पुढे गेला तो
here.
What is sexual in nature in this incident? What did you find sexual in nature? What is sexual in nature? What is written over there? Go back a little bit. Can you go back? On the board, what is written? Okay, on the board it was written, I miss your touch. Is this sexual in nature? Yes? Okay, on the chits it was written, look to your right, look to your left. Is there any sexual in it? Yes, no? Yes? Look to your right and look to your left. Is there anything sexual in nature in that wordings? Which has got more sexual in nature wording? I miss your touch or look to your left and right? Yeah. I miss your touch, right? Is sexual in nature. So, is she happy receiving the messages? It is an unwanted behavior. She is not happy receiving the messages, right? So now can she file a complaint against that boy? Is it at the workplace? Is it happening at the workplace? Is it happening with a woman? So it is meeting the three criteria: sexual harassment of women at workplace. Okay, now so when she has to file a complaint, how will she write a complaint in writing? 10 o'clock, what happened with her? She got this chit. 2 o'clock, what happened? She got this chit. 5 o'clock, what happened? What was written on the board? If there is a video camera in the office, that video camera can be as an evidence to make a case strong when she writes a complaint and gives it to the IC, internal committee, right? So this is a clear case of hostile work environment created by the boy for her, by her own colleague. He is not aware that what he's doing is right or wrong. Correct? Okay, we'll move on to the next. Understood, everybody? Yeah, next. Sexual in nature.
How many times am I supposed to tell you, Tulsi? Did
Now.
I tell you to file these papers 3 days ago? I sent you an email reminding you of it also. That delay has cost us a huge penalty and we have lost our major client. How are we supposed to compensate for that now, huh?
I'm sorry, sir. I told Rohan. He said he would email it, but...
No, Tulsi, it was your responsibility, not Rohan's.
Sir, but I told him to, and he said...
I don't care what you told him. What did I tell you? I'm sorry, but we have to let you go.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. So now here what is happening? This scenario is most in you'll find such scenes. Boss is shouting at the colleague for not doing her work. Correct? She's feeling uncomfortable, she's crying. She's uncomfortable about the situation that she's been shouted at. Can she file a sexual harassment case against her boss? Yes, no? Yes? Why? Tell me yes, why? वो कंफर्टेबल नहीं है, वो रो रही है इसलिए, हाँ? वो कंफर्टेबल नहीं है इसलिए, वो रो रही है इसलिए वो फाइल कर सकती है सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट का केस. The boss is only purely shouting at her. Why? Because she has not done her work properly. Correct? There's nothing sexual in nature to it. Sexual कुछ था उसमें? Oh, hello. Sexual कुछ था उसमें? Nothing, no? तो अभी तक तो वो फाइल नहीं कर सकती है कंप्लेंट. So your boss shouting at you, it does not mean that you go and file a sexual harassment case. Okay? It is purely related to work. Next.
Please, sorry, it won't happen again.
Okay. Stop crying. Listen, maybe we can work something out. Why don't you stay back after work and you can go back to my place?
Sir, what do you mean?
Come on, Tulsi, you know what I mean. You're a smart girl.
Quid pro quo category of sexual harassment. The boss is asking her to remain after office hours and, so you're asking for some favor, which is sexual in nature. So sexual in nature kya tha? What was there? Physical. It was a quid pro quo. Physical. Right? He touched her shoulder, he touched her hair, plus he used language which was sexual in nature. He was asking her to come out or sit late and be, right? All that is sexual in nature. So now she can file a complaint against her boss together with her shouting. Okay? Clear? Yeah. Next.
Hey Priyanka, who's that? Your boyfriend, ah? Yesterday a different boy dropped you, na? Every day one boy. If you want, I also can drop you, now.
Scenario to me, please. Somebody explain. Sushma. Explain. Have a Gitla? It's okay. What have you understood from this? What was happening?
The girl was passing through and he suddenly stopped her and started asking few things.
Okay. We did not hear what he asked. Okay. He asked that who is that boy? Is it your boyfriend? Every day new boy is coming and dropping you. Can I also come? This is the statement he passed. Yeah? So is it falling under the criteria? Definitions that I explained? Is it falling within that purview of sexual harassment? Was there anything sexual in it? No? Krishma, you don't understand? He said, every day new boy is coming to drop you. Means what? He's talking about the character of a woman, which is not good. Every day new boy coming to drop you means what? Talking about the character of a woman, right? Which is sexual in nature. So that is not right. Plus he said, can I also come and drop you? He's making a suggestive remark. Okay? Plus look at the way that villainish look he's giving her. The way he's asking, plus he's smoking. Okay, now is it workplace? Is it falling under workplace? Okay, she got down from the bike, okay, at the road. She entered into the office premises whatever law you can say that area. She walked into it. So it becomes extended workplace. If he would have stood outside the gate and smoked and passed these remarks, then it wouldn't have fallen under the purview of workplace definition. But the moment she walked inside, she came within the purview of workplace extension. I said no extension, extended workplace kya hai? Any common areas like staircase, like terrace, या फिर आपका ये जो प्रेमाइसेस है आप अंदर आ गए गेट के अंदर आ गए वो एक्सटेंडेड वर्कप्लेस हो गया द मोमेंट यू स्टेप आउटसाइड आप एलएनटी के रोड पे जाओगे वो हो गया आउटसाइड द पर्व्यू ऑफ वर्कप्लेस एरिया वो हो गया पब्लिक प्लेस समझ में आया सो द मोमेंट शी वॉक्ड इनसाइड इट बिकेम extended workplace area so still she can file a complaint against that boy for it will be under hostile work environment okay and it is a sexual harassment case. Was she happy receiving those messages? She was very uncomfortable what she heard, right? So it was an unwanted act, unwanted behavior. There is question marks in people's mind. समझ में आया ये scenario समझ में आया? Why it is a sexual harassment incident? Okay. Next. Yeah.
And you remember that team picnic we went?
Oh,
In one photo, she was standing so close to him and what
I
was
know.
that?
oh, and I heard she went and liked all his Facebook pictures.
All, huh?
Everything.
But she does that with everybody. She liked even all of my pictures as well.
It's different for him,
not the
man.
same,
It's
then.
different.
Shh.
You saw?
That's right.
And so much makeup here. What is this
This
office?
is something you and I have seen in the office.
And you remember that team picnic we went?
Oh,
In one photo, she was standing so close to him and what
I
was
know.
that?
Oh, and I heard she went and liked all his Facebook pictures.
All, huh?
Everything.
But she does that with everybody. She liked even all of my pictures as well.
It's different for him,
not the
man.
same,
It's
then.
different.
Shh.
You saw?
That's right.
And so much makeup here. What is this
This
office?
is something you and I have seen in the office.
And you remember that team picnic we went?
Oh,
In one photo, she was standing so close to him and what
I
was
know.
that?
Oh, and I heard she went and liked all his Facebook pictures.
All, huh?
Everything.
But she does that with everybody. She liked even all of my pictures as well.
It's different for him,
not the
man.
same,
It's
then.
different.
Shh.
You saw?
That's right.
And so much makeup here. What is this
This
office?
is something you and I have seen in the office.
3 years I've been working. No promotion, nothing.
I know, man. Actually, what did she do to deserve this?
I know what she did.
What?
No, these days you look
Slowly,
slowly.
slowly.
Oh, hi, yeah.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Nice salwar kameez, deep neck and all. Nice body fitting. Where you stitched?
It's ready made.
The only mistake. Huh?
Nothing, man.
Only one cup of coffee. Not taking one for the boss today.
No.
You usually take, no?
Nothing, Papa. Go.
These days, no, these modern women.
No, but that's what you need to do. Maybe I should also do something like this, no?
Hey, Nisha.
Huh?
Had a meeting with the boss, sir.
Yeah.
Some personal meeting, this was?
Huh?
No, some personal meeting, because nobody else was called for it.
No.
Anyway, congratulations on your promotion.
Thanks.
Hope we didn't make you work too hard for it. Huh?
Okay, now who will explain this? There were 3 incidences that happened. Who will explain? Arun. Who are on board? What do you understand?
First, the girl was going, and the boys was looking him. And the second,
You can talk in Hindi also, no problem.
लड़की जा रही थी तो उसको लुक कर रहे थे, मतलब पीछे देख रहे थे कि मतलब क्या है, बैट्स बिहेवियर, दिस इज आल्सो अ बैड बिहेवियर.
Okay.
एंड सेकंड, बॉस के साथ कोई मीटिंग था, मीटिंग कर रहे थे तो उनको थोड़ा टाइम लग गया, तो बाहर निकलने के टाइम वो बोल रहे थे क्या इतना टाइम लग गया. दिस वेयर द बिहेवियर वाज.
Okay.
दैट्स इट.
Okay. So now there were 3 incidences shown in this particular scenario. In the first scene, the 3 of them were sitting and talking and bad biting about that girl when she walked in. Correct? When she walked in, they were talking about that girl, that she puts pictures on the Facebook, she likes all his pictures, something. तो वो लड़की के बारे में कुछ personal बात कर रहे थे, bad bitching about her. So as soon as she walked, they all stopped talking, right? So it created a pressurized kind of environment for the girl. वो उसको लगता है कि कोई मेरे बारे में कुछ बात कर रहा है मेरे पीछे. Correct? That was the first incident. Second incident in the pantry area. 2 girls talking. वो लोग क्या बात कर रहे हैं? What are they talking? They're talking about the girls dressing. Such tight fitting dress. Plus, she's taking coffee, but she's not taking a cup of coffee for a boss. The girls are asking her about it. Correct? That was the statement passed by the girls to that girl. Then in the third scenario, when she's coming out from the boss's office, that boy standing out, he's asking her. The meeting was alone with the boss. Nobody else was asked to attend the meeting. Only you were there. Okay. Then promotion ke liye aapko he congratulated her. Plus he says that hope you didn't have to work too hard for that promotion. इसका मतलब क्या है? ये promotion मिलने के लिए आपको बहुत कुछ काम करना पड़ा होगा. He says like this. Okay. So can that girl file the complaint against all 4 of them? Because they created a hostile work environment by having a pressurized kind of an environment, plus it was sexual in nature. Sexual in nature क्या था? वो लोग सोच रहे हैं कि कुछ उसके बॉस के साथ कुछ है, होगा नहीं मालूम, लेकिन वो लोग बात कर रहे हैं कुछ होगा, अफेयर है, इसलिए उसको प्रमोशन भी मिल रहे हैं. करेक्ट? तो वो लड़की जिसके साथ ये सब हो रहा है, she can file a complaint against all of them, even the girls. कंप्लेंट करने के लिए लड़का हो या लड़की कोई भी हो सकती है, लेकिन कंप्लेंट करने वाली जो है वो लड़की ही हो सकती है, लड़का नहीं. समझ रहे हैं? समझ रहे हैं? Okay, now the last scenario. Any doubts here in this particular scene? No? Clear? Okay. Now the last episode.
साली टीएल, विनीता, राकेश, सारी टीम यहाँ पे बैठ के अपनी मरवा रही है, मगर वो हमारे ग्रुप हेड के साथ इनसाइड आउटसाइड खेल रही है.
संभाल, pedestrian language da. Locomotion, lubrication.
Promotion of us from team member to TL wasn't enough. Sala, 2 pay raises in 20 months. Unbelievable. This is shit.
Fucking का ही तो promotion मिला है. Unbelievable, okay?
Yeah.
Oda, that is not unbelievable. Unbelievable ये है कि उसको C++ का ABC तक नहीं आता है.
Enough. I've said this once before and I'm not gonna say it again. This is way past the line.
क्या दिक्कत है तेरी? We're not talking to you. We're not talking about you. तुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो बाहर जाना है.
You need to realize what kind of stuff is and what isn't okay to discuss in a room when people aren't comfortable with it.
You understood here? Who shall I pick? People who are not listening, only I'll pick them. Excuse me? Excuse me? Did you hear? Huh? Somebody from the finance. Okay, Aman. Aman, say what you have understood.
So, madam, अपने वर्क प्लेस में
Cursing use करें. Okay. Okay. So now in this last episode, what was happening was that 3 people sitting in the office, bad bitching or bad mouthing about a third person who is not there only in the office in that particular scene. किसी और तीसरे आदमी के बारे में या लड़की के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. Who is not present only over there. ठीक है? लेकिन वो गाली गलौज देके बात करी, वो बीच में पिंग पिंग आ रहा था, वो बैड वर्ड्स थे. जैसे वो बैठे भी थे ऑफिस में, वो बैठने की तरह नहीं है. इट इज नॉट अ प्रॉपर ऑफिस कल्चर टू बी. ऐसे बैठते नहीं है कोई ऑफिस में. आप ऑफिस में बैठे हो, राइट? प्लस वो जो 2 लोग सुन रहे थे, जो 2 लोग खड़े रह के सुन रहे थे, उनको अच्छा नहीं लगा. क्योंकि वो लड़का बोला ना, आपको क्या दिक्कत है, मैं आपके बारे में नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ. आपको नहीं अच्छा लगा तो आप बाहर जाके बैठो, आपके बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे. लेकिन जो लोग सुन रहे थे उनको अच्छा नहीं लगा. They did not like it. So even people who overhear such things in the office and they felt uncomfortable hearing it and it was sexual in nature, they can also file a complaint because they're creating a hostile work environment in the office for them and for others also. Understood? वो 2 लोग जो सुन रहे थे वो कंप्लेंट, वो लड़की कंप्लेंट कर सकती है फॉर हियरिंग, ऑल्दो इट वाज नॉट अबाउट हर. लेकिन वो जो बात कर रहे थे वो सेक्सुअल इन नेचर था, गाली गलौज देके बात कर रहे थे, विच इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल इन अ वर्क प्लेस. करेक्ट? एवरीबडी इज अग्रीइंग टू दिस? Yeah. So that girl can file a complaint, that boy can be a witness to what was happening over there in that particular scenario. Correct? So these are 5 different scenarios majorly happening, which constitute that it, or which says that there is a sexual harassment element in those incidences. Okay? Clear? Okay, now we will take question and answers. I close my session here. There are many things, but I'm not waiting. We all need to first understand the basics of the act. आपको भी basics तो at least मालूम पड़ गया होगा. Correct? You have understood the basics of the act? हाँ? क्या है definitions? क्या है complaint करने का mechanism? कौन कर सकता है? कैसे कर सकता है? Right? तो किसी के पास questions है? Anybody has any doubts? You can ask. इतने क्लैरिटी मिल गई थी, क्वेश्चंस ही नहीं है. Any questions? Shall we close? Chat box, if anybody has in the chat questions in the chat box, you can ask. People from online भी आए हैं क्या? From outside? Okay, anybody has any questions, you can put it up in the chat box, please. Yeah. You can take this. You can take this.
Is this act only applicable for the women who are at the workplace, or even to the girls who are going into the colleges? Like if there is a harassment done to any girl in the college by maybe a professor or someone, or maybe for the student itself. Even is this act applicable to them, or is there some other act for those things?
Now, educational institutions, as I said, any organized, unorganized sector, educational institutions also fall under that. Okay. Now, if a teacher or a student, relationship between a teacher and a student, there is a different act for that. But yeah, she can also file under of sexual harassment, because it is not a workplace, but it is a workplace for the teachers who are working there. Right? So it becomes a mandatory act for the educational institutions also. So if any student is having any issue, or she faces a sexual harassment issue with one of the teachers, or any of the working from the administration side of the school or college, I can say college, school for children or minors, there's another act called POXO Act. There's a POXO Act for minors, which is related to sexual harassment of minors. Okay, so there's a different act for that. But yeah, in colleges, if there's an incident like that happening, she can take protection under this act, because the educational institute also needs to constitute a internal committee. Satisfied with answer? Yeah. Okay. Any other query? Anybody else having any queries? Now for ICS, as I said, we already have an internal committee in place. Their names will be disclosed. We have already identified the committee members. So their names will be disclosed. The post policy will also be circulated to all of y'all. Okay. So it is a mandatory requirement for each and every employee to go through that document. Yeah. And know who are the post committee members. Now, POSH, when I say POSH now, it is not exactly, it is a given name. Okay, POSH means prevention of sexual harassment. That is not the actual act name. POSH is just a given name. So the actual name of the act, as I already said, it is Sexual Harassment of Women, PPR Act. PPR means what? Prevention, Protection and Redressal Act. So it states the prevention part in the act, it states the protection part, and the redressal mechanism in case of a issue happening with a woman. So that is a PPR in that act. So POSH Act is not the name of the act. Shall we close? Any queries? Okay. Does this act require to submit any return to any authority by an owner? Yes. There is a compliance which I explained when I started off with this session. There is a compliance, annual compliance. It is not, it is called it's called the annual report. Okay. Every year in the month of January, now for every region, for example, now ICS has got stations all over India, right? Now, even in stations, if there are 10 and more employees, there also you need to have a separate committee in place. But now, since we have less than 10 committees, so the HO committee will look into whatever incidences happening with these stations. Okay, if there are any incidences happening with the stations. Now, what is the annual report? The annual report has to be submitted to the district collector's office of the region of the locality where you are. Now, for Mumbai region, there are two regions in Mumbai. One is the suburban, right? The suburban area, we fall under the suburban area. Kalina falls under suburban area. So we have to submit an annual report to the district collector of Mumbai suburban, which is located in Bandra, BKC. Likewise, there is Thane. Okay. Likewise, there is Palghar. There are regions. So you have to see which region you are calling and accordingly submit the annual report. This annual report is submitted every year in January for the previous year. For 2023, you will submit in 2024 January by the 15th of January. There is a set format for that. There are 4 questions which needs to be completed and given and submitted, signed by the management and submitted to the district collector. The district collector is the authority. You also must be knowing there is a she box under women and child development. You know who is the women and child development minister now? Anybody knows? Even I don't know. Women and child, even women and child development ministry also falls under this particular act. In their website, if you go, they have a she box. If any of the women they feel are not comfortable with the internal committee, they can file a complaint, write a complaint to the she box under Women and Child Development Ministry. If you go to the website, you will get that link over there. So, Mr. Anand Singh, I have answered your question. Yeah. Any other question? No men are asking any questions. What for them? आपको कोई नहीं लगता कि injustice हो रहा है? Men in the organization have no questions. हमारे लिए क्या? हमारे साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ तो हो सकता है ना? नहीं हो सकता. Unfortunately for the men, as of now, there is no reprise given or there is no law for them. But yes, you all have any queries, any kind of issues faced, you can always bring it up to the HR. The HR will take it up. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप you can always bring it up to the HR, but there is no law for you all, as of now at least. अगर ये act कहता sexual harassment of employee, तो उसमें men women दोनों या male female दोनों employees आ सकते थे, but now it is specifically only for women. Okay, another thing, in case of any woman makes a false complaint or takes undue advantage of this act or protection given to them under this act, if they make a false complaint, they will be given the same punishment as that they would have, a male counterpart would have got. The same punishment jata hai. So it's not that agar wo false complaint, if she's under the investigation, if the IC finds that a woman has made a false complaint against the perpetrator or against the respondent, she will get the same punishment. Also, the internal committee, which is formed by the organization, is a independent body. It has got nothing to do, I am not saying nothing to do with the organization, but it is part of the organization. But when any case comes to it, any sexual harassment comes to the internal committee, that committee acts like an independent body. The rights also given to that independent body or to the IC committee are that of a civil court. They are like a civil court. They also carry out an investigation as per the principles of natural justice. मतलब natural justice क्या होता है कि you hear all the parties and then only reach to a conclusion. आप एक साइड सुन के कंक्लूजन में नहीं आ सकते. सबको सुनने के बाद ही वो कमेटी अपना जो कुछ रिकमेंडेशन है वो दे सकती है. ओके. Everybody is having a very blank face. Well, I've understood, not understood, I don't know. Any more questions? So shall we close? Shall we close the session? No other questions? Thank you very much for your patient listening and hope I am able to bring some clarity and some educative, kind of a thing for all of you, and hope you have understood it in a right manner. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheetal ma'am, for giving such a wonderful webinar today on the Women's Sexual Harassment Act. Thank you so much. And I hope that each and everyone understood this very well and shall implement this if anyone is going through any of this phase. Thank you. Okay. Now, ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development. With integrated management system, QMS, EMS, OSHAs, excellence in education management, ISO made easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, Hindi. These are the books which are available with us. So if anyone wants, you can contact the below.
में जाता है तब मेन होता है. 30s में मेन होता है. 30
Feedback form. Please register on www.sadgunsung.org and go in your login and give feedback. Thank you for being a part of today's Sadgun Sung. Thank you, everyone.